If you thought the Twitter feud between President Trump and Kellyanne Conway's husband was going away anytime soon, think again. George Conway retweeting all kinds of new attacks against the president today, including suggesting that Trump is mentally unstable. This comes as Kellyanne Conway is once again siding with her boss over her husband.
My husband also has been very critical of the president publicly, which is unlike him, just because he's traditionally been a very private person. In 2016, which was known as the year of the tweet, George Conway sent exactly 0 tweets. So this is new. And what also is new is not supporting the agenda of the president and my work there. I was raised, though, in a household of strong Italian Catholic women who taught me that you air grievances like that in private. So it is very surprising to see it be so public.
So this is so interesting to me because, I mean, it's like an addition. We should start a show. I think you said this yesterday called The Conways or something. It's unbelievable. But if it's real, what Kellyanne said to Maria Bartiromo was, she's never really addressed this with her husband. They've only talked about it in passing. Meanwhile, George Conway says, oh, he gets the tweeting out so he doesn't have to scream at his wife. What do you make of this, then?
Well, in my notes for this block, as you can see, I literally just drew what is a dumpster fire right there. Okay. I think it would probably be best for if someone doesn't want a topic to be covered, that they just refrain from speaking about it. I think the more content put out by all 3 of those parties is unfortunate, and it's distracting from larger issues at hand and also their credibility.
Jesse, he says some really strong things about the president, you know, whack job, and he's a narcissist, antisocial. He puts out all kinds of psychiatric diagnoses for people to read about the president. And I just wonder, you know, how does this impact people who are Trump fans? What do they think of it?
Well, he should look in the mirror. I mean, talk about psychologically imbalanced. I don't know what this guy's up to. I like your new hand movements. This was very Beto-esque. This was a new one. I've never seen that before. It was mesmerizing.
I think you call it milking the goat.
Okay. But like Emily, I just don't have a lot to say about their marriage. It's a private matter, and now it's spilled out to the public, and it looks humiliating for everybody involved. But I would say Kellyanne Conway is handling it gracefully. She's a very intelligent woman, a very passionate woman for the president, and I hate to see her embarrassed by this. It looks like George might have Trump derangement syndrome, and maybe he's angling for a CNN contributorship. I don't know what's going on. I kind of don't want to know what's going on, and I hope we could all move on.
Right. So, Dana, as this is taking place, the president's feud with the Republican Party, it seems, over John McCain continues. And it's almost like people are saying, well, you know what, we don't like that. Johnny Isaac.
I think the president's feud is with John McCain, and there have been... I don't think the other people in the Republican Party are not feuding with the president about that. Some of them, like Congressman Dan Crenshaw, are saying, please, Mr. President, just stop it. Like, he's not your political enemy. Like, move on. On the Conway stuff, one thing I think about this is, I agree. I wish we didn't know. But here's the thing. George Conway wants us to notice. He's poking the bear. And I don't understand to what desired outcome. Right. So what do you want to happen? Like, you're not the first to say the president has narcissistic personality disorder. What do you think you're going to accomplish that you're going to be able to do that nobody else is able to do by saying the same thing? Like, what do you want? Do you want to make life harder for your wife at the White House? Do you think it doesn't affect her at the White House? Do you want President Trump to be able to paint you as a worse husband than he? I mean, this is an incredible situation that I wish we could just not talk about it.
I think she said he would like her to leave the job.
I don't know. I must have missed that.
All right. So, Greg, what do you think?
I disagree with you. I love every minute of it.
I know you do.
I want it to keep going. You know, it's interesting. We always talk about this being like a reality show. Trump has been able to combine a whole bunch of different shows because it's like a soap opera with a lot of subplots. You know, it's like a Farrelly Brothers version of Falcon Crest. First, Trump is basically J.R. Ewing, right? But then Pence, he's Ned Flanders, right? He's Ned Flanders. Bolton is obviously Matlock. And then Kelly and her husband, they could be kind of like the Furleys from Three's Company, but he's more like Newman. And, of course, Brian Stelter is Costanza, always complaining about the better-looking people over at Fox News. And I understand that. But the thing is, the real development here is that we are talking about it. This was going on for a while. So it's kind of moving towards a resolution,
right.
and I'm dying to. I can't wait to see what it is, how this is going to end. This is like, it is like Who Shot JR. We're getting to a climax.
The finale.
I can't wait for the finale. Honestly, do we need more of these?
Maybe at the finale we'll all wake up and find out it was a dream.
It was a dream. We're all in the shower.
That's Dallas.
Oh, that's a terrible dream.
That's Dallas. Husband from Hell, though. I don't know who gets that title.